Welcome back. You're still watching E-Vibes, the entertainment show's signature TV. Today we are honored to host one of Nigeria's most captivating cultural ambassadors, a musician, scholar, educator, and master of the Igbo Oja. My guest is Ogbuoja Gerald Maduabuchi Eze, popularly known as Ogbuoja, an award-winning performer whose work is dedicated to preserving and reimagining Igbo traditional music. He's the founder of Ichoku Academy, a lecturer in music and ethnomusicology, and a globally recognized performer who has graced stages from Nigeria to the United States, and most recently, Wigmore Hall in London. Through his music, research, and storytelling, he brings ancient Igbo instruments to life for a new generation. Please join me in welcoming Gerald Eze, a true custodian of heritage and a rising cultural icon who will be discussing solely on his journey and the role of indigenous music in identity and storytelling. Wow! Should I be dancing or something? I'm supposed to be saying, hey, hey. Oh, my bad.
Even if you don't hear anything.
Abby. Thank you so much. You know, you had a problem with the whole beyond the flute thingy, and you expected beyond the Oja. Why?
Yeah, so if you say beyond the flute, I am a flautist.
Okay.
Like I play the Western transverse flute, and that is the instrument called flute. But the Oja is Oja. And if you ask me to come for a performance and that I'm going to play flute, sometimes I'll be mischievous. I'll come with my flute and I'll come with the Oja.
Oh.
And then when it's time to perform, I'll bring out the flute. He said, no, na Oja. And then I was like, eh. So if you want to keep speaking English, I'll start playing the flute. So the Oja is Oja. And it's important at this time of Igbo Renaissance to call it by its name.
Okay.
And there is no gain, there is no economic gain in calling it flute. Because if you are selling Oja online, for instance, and someone types, I want to buy flute, it will take the person to the flute store.
Yeah.
But if you say, I want to buy Oja, no stress, it takes you to the instrument you want to buy. If you say you want to get a performer of the Oja, and this performer is Ogbuoja, and if you type Ogbuoja or Oja performer, it will take you to the people that perform it. So this, sometimes people say, ah, it's Oja, but what's the English name? I'm like, what do you, did the English people produce it? Did the English people discover it? It's not their instrument, it's owned by the Igbo people. So the naming should be reserved for the culture that owns it, and it doesn't require any interpretation.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. So Abad is beyond the Oja.
So it should be beyond the Oja.
Oja. Okay, no problem. So for people who doesn't know you or meeting you for the first time, who is Gerald Eze, the man behind the Oja?
Well, I am Gerald Eze. That is me, live and direct. And when you call my name, the next thing that will follow is the sound of the Oja, and that happened. So Gerald Eze is a name I love because it has become a household name. People say, ah, have you met Gerald? Ah, Gerald Eze. But my parents know me as Abuchi, Mother Abuchi. So I was born and with that name, but then I went to a Catholic school, Tan's College.
Okay.
And in the school, you have to use your baptismal name. And that was not really the time of Igbo Renaissance. That was a time people, you would say such a thing. You have to use your baptismal name, and everybody will just
Yeah.
accept it without questioning, right?
Yeah.
So Gerald, I have a friend, Andrew this, Peter this, Kelvin this, Michael that. Do you understand? Very
Yeah.
few people in the school retained their Igbo name. So this was a time Gerald started becoming the official thing. Gerald, 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 Gerald. But if you come to my family, they know me as Abuchi. And so it's still there, all my name, but all of those names are mine. But then, who is Gerald as a Mother Abuchi? Who is Abuchi? Who is this Mother Abuchi? Chi in Igbo is like your spiritual energy. It's a light. It's that piece of the divine that is in you, that came to the world with you, right? And Madu Abuchi, man cannot be your Chi. You see it more in my life and you believe, because in my life, from the time I was born till now, my life exemplifies this name, Mother Abuchi. There is always a divine plan that I am working on, even without knowing. And from time to time, there will be conflicts. It could be with my parents, it could be with my teachers, it could be with my colleagues. There would be a certain thing that I want to do, and I'm being prompted by my Chi, and I wouldn't know that I'm even being prompted in most cases, but I will keep falling in line with it. And sometimes there's that conflict, and no, we want you to do this, like studying music. My parents, I'm the only son, and I'm the last boy in a family of 4 girls, and 1 boy. So it wasn't very easy. We love you. What will you do after school? How will you feed yourself? How will you feed your family?
Yeah.
So that is all that journey of Mother Abuchi. So this Mother Abuchi is, I don't want to say, if I have to be honest, a rebel of a sort. This is what my Chi is saying, and I'm following it. So, but what I do is also that I am very dialogical. There could be these conflicts, but I'm not telling you go to hell. I must do what my Chi says. I will do it, but I will lead you on. I also lead my community to say, look, this is what I've been trying to explain to you. Sometimes I don't have the language to explain it. I don't even, know where I'm going, but I'm sure that the divine vibration that I'm following is really leading me to the right place. So that is the Mother Abuchi. That is Gerald. That is Eze.
Gerald Eze Mother Abuchi. Impressive. So how did the journey into or with the Oja begin? I mean, why did you choose this path? What actually interests you to choosing Oja and this particular line of music?
So that takes us to another name, Eze. The full name is Ezeji, and the full is Ezeji Buaku. So I'm from Umuchu, Enibubu, Umuchu. So my great-grandfather, Ezeji, had a very big compound, and the story had it that he had a very large barn of yam. And in the Igbo culture, you don't bear a title that is not useful for the community. So if you're Ezeji, I rijigi for like 2 weeks. I rijigi zuka na abo mo ya agwu. Owu na ogwuro ma na ikotali ji ye zuru obodo. So he was wealthy in that sense. But another way he showed his wealth was being an art patron. It was in my family compound that the music, a number of traditional dance troupes were rehearsing. So at the end of the day, his children, including my grandfather, so I'm talking about Ezeji, who is my great-grandfather. One of his children, of course, my grandfather, played the Eba of the Eba Mong troupe in my community. So probably 70 to 80% of the Eba Mong ensemble of Umuchu were from, my grandfather, his brother, who played the Oja, the other one who plays Obaka, even though Obaka is not part of the ensemble. So each of his sons, had one instrument or the other that they were playing. But then, why I'm saying this is, if you do not know your roots, you can play Oja, but you will not know what you are doing with Oja. You will not know what to do with it. You will not know why you are playing it. And if you don't know why you are playing it, that's a waste of sound. That's a waste of vibration. there must be a story. There must be some kind of direction so that what you are doing will have, projections. It's going to somewhere. It's doing something, because Igbo music is not music for music's sake. You won't just go to the Ikoro in your village square and sound it if you don't want to say anything. You have to say something with it. And you won't just go to that Ikoro and play it anytime you like, even if you're saying something. You have to say something in a particular season. So I am from a musical background that is rooted in Igbo tradition. But guess what? I got to know this story only in 2018? Yeah, when my dad was hospitalized. And he had partial stroke, and the doctor warned us that we shouldn't engage him too much. Like, he shouldn't talk too much.
So it was at that point you had to walk it through the whole generational music and all that.
I didn't know, but I was doing my master's in Igbo musical instruments. So arrangement styles for Igbo musical instruments. And I was like, I slept in my office for like 2 weeks. So because I couldn't leave, I was downloading information. It was intense. So I couldn't leave. It happened the first day. I had to go home and bring my clothes. So I would shower and change and be in the school. I would walk around in the evening time, so at night I'm all alone in the office reading, writing, putting down the things and downloading. I didn't want to get any distraction. So one of the nights I was like, what I am getting is not what I studied in the university, because I studied music, but this is not what anybody taught me. I have to ask my parents some questions. So I went to the hospital. I said, it's my turn to take care of my dad today. I'm sure my mom didn't figure out, how did this boy volunteer to do this, and then I didn't care that we shouldn't talk for long. I said, if it's not like I wanted any bad thing to happen, but if he had died after telling me all the stories, I'll be fulfilled. But I knew that he wouldn't die, and he's alive now and he has healed from the stroke. So he told me all the story. I just asked him one question. I said, Daddy, this music that I'm playing, this music, these compositions, this performance, this act is not from Western education. It's not from going to school. Is this rooted in my family? And then he started telling me the
stories, one after the other. All right, now that's a long story. I'm sure if we keep talking about it, the show will be over. Okay, so at what point do you realize that preserving Igbo music or preserving Igbo instruments is your go-to life?
I think I was already exposed to music as early as age 5. My mom would take me to choir. And from my maternal background too, my grandfather was a chorister. So I was growing with music. So it wasn't difficult for me to understand the need for each individual to experience music. And by the time I got into my secondary school education, which was Tans College, there was need. That Tans College, Oka, became a sort of a village for us, and there was need and environment for people with talent to express themselves. And we had different music groups. So I started tapping into these environments. And this also informed my understanding that a human being needs music. So because we had a Ogbuoja, this is a Catholic school, we had a Ogbuoja, a Moma, a this, a that, almost up to 10 groups. And they needed Oja performance. And from there I moved from piano to guitar to trumpet and eventually Oja. And so understanding that I had a calling for music and that I needed to do something with it came by the time I wanted to get into the university. And I couldn't get, I was in the post-UME hall for economics. Then I said a prayer, God, if you don't want me to study this economics, let me not get to the court of mark. This was a human being about to write exam. Because I'm aware of my chi, and I know that the divine plan is the ultimate. I don't even need to stress myself, and that's why things work for me without much stress. So I wrote that jam, and I was 1 mark away from cutoff. So I didn't get economics. And I went back to the chapel again, and I said the rosary, and I came out with a song. and I could sing. I will sing it later.
Yeah, you will do that
So
actually.
that's from
Okay.
there. I discovered this purpose for music. Then I studied music.
Okay.
Eventually in the university, and as a student, I opened up an academy of music, seeing that parents had need for me to come and teach their children music.
We're actually
So-
coming to that. We're coming to that. So, you know, many say that Oja speaks, right? And I would want you to explain the whole spiritual and cultural significance of the Oja.
Yeah, ordinarily, Igbo musical instruments are not just musical instruments. It's very incorrect to treat them as musical instruments. The roles they play are diverse. Each of them, they have extra musical functions. The ekwe, for instance, is used to communicate. The OP is used to communicate, just like the Oja. So the Oja speaks the speech tones of the Igbo. You know, the Igbo has speech tones. Oden, Odana, Odan, Suda. So ekwe, enu, ere, these are tones that have sound. And if you look at a word like aqua, aqua, aqua. So because it has tones, because our language has tones, once the tone changes, the meaning changes. So you have aqua, that's clothes, aqua, egg, aqua, bed. And then if you make a sentence with each of these words, you can say aqua na agum.
That's I want to cry.
On a team aqua. Da, 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 da. So that can be turned to music.
Okay.
And our instruments were designed, our ancestors were wise enough to design these instruments to be instruments of communication. So this is, I'm trying to quickly handle the linguistics aspect of the Oja. Why it can talk in the first place. It can talk because the Igbo language is tonal. It can also talk because our ancestors were deep thinkers. They were scientists. They were not even compartmentalized scientists. There were people who would be thinking of linguistics and physics and mathematics at the same time, and language. Do you understand? Like one person is an embodiment of a lot of energy, knowledge, vibration.
Yeah.
So you have the Oja being able to speak the Igbo language is because we had intentional people as ancestors. Then the other level of spirituality, I'll quickly say that if you want to speak to someone in London today and you pick up a phone and call the right number, the person will answer you, right? At least the phone will ring, and then the person can pick or not pick. And if the person picks, you say hello. If the network is good, if the frequency is okay, you get to talk. Now, the Igbo people understand that the Oja is that connection to the ancestors. It's okay to use word of mouth to say, you are trying to call someone in London and you are here saying, Emeka, can you hear me? Emeka could feel it. But the most effective way is to pick up the phone
and call
Emeka. So the Oja, like I said in my performance at the National Theatre, the reopening of the National Theatre in the 1st October this year, I performed for the president, and I said Oja was the first cell phone of the Igbo people. That's what I mean by that. So Oja is that instrument that we will use to call our ancestors. And to break it down further, what I played earlier, if you listen, there was a point I said Ekekelowa, Okwoja Ekenege.
I don't understand.
Ekekelowa is God. God Almighty, the performer of the Oja, is greeting you. And I called Uchu Ajogugu. Uchu is the deity. I'm from Umuchu. That's the deity of my town. And my great-grandfather really honored this Uchu. So by playing that, you would know where I come from. Okay. And then I played Ezejibuako. All these people are spiritual beings because my great-grandfather Ezejibuako is also late. But I called him Ezejibuako. And if you sitting here is a titled man or woman, for instance, Chimamanda is Odelowa. She's a chief. And if she was sitting here in front of me,
understand.
I will use the Oja and also call you, even you being a human being. So
okay, sorry to cut you there. Sorry to cut you there, right? You know, you created Ichoku Academy to teach young people about traditional music, right? what inspired you? Is it about the whole story, or your chi speaking to you, directing you, and all that?
Well, Ichoku Academy was I was just I had a call to do music lesson for a family, and that's the family of Dr. Patrick and Samaka Ezeno in Oka. So it was just to be piano. So from there, I did. They said I did well, and that was for a month. And I was like, okay. Other families came. The family of Professor Ike and Christy Odumegu came. Family of Dr. Chike, Chinenyo Febu came. So these three families, I was teaching their kids piano, guitar, violin. And then at a point I said it has to switch to traditional music. This is where the calling came, and when I started having the realization that, look, we have to do our thing. And there are no materials to teach these things, so I started developing them. I started bringing Obaka. I want to teach you piano, right? I'll bring Obaka, and then the kid would tell me himself or herself, Uncle, I want to play this instrument. What's the name? I say, it's Obaka. I like it. Okay, it's your own. I'll leave it with them. So today we have products of Ichoku Academy. Some of them are now in medical school, studying engineering, studying pharmacy, and they are multi-instrumentalists. They can play the Western instruments, but they are proficient with Igbo musical instruments. So that is how Ichoku Academy happened. And like I said, my great-grandfather had this environment for the learning of music. So it's natural that this happened, that I'm also creating that environment, that structure for people to learn Igbo musical instruments. We are not doing things entirely new. We need to understand that we're not entirely doing new things. DNA is dynamic. We're only doing things in dynamic ways. You need to understand your ancestry, and you make sense out of what you are doing.
So though, have you seen attitude change towards this generation, this modern generation, when it comes to these traditional instruments? Have you seen the attitude change towards it in some kind of way?
For instance, when I was talking about how the Oja would call Ekekelowa, he said, I don't understand that. But I was telling you something very important.
Yeah.
Because if you are, maybe you are into, you're a technologist, you're working with AI, these things I'm saying are important.
Okay.
You want to, because this sound can be used to other things, to being. Do you understand? To activate things, just the way you use your remote. And so there is a lot that can happen at the level of the knowledge we have in the indigenous culture. So I would first of all say that the education we have received blocks off our understanding, the access, the right access to the full message that these sounds carry. So even when it is happening before us, we are only experiencing the entertainment.
Yeah.
So like when I was playing, you really loved it,
Yeah.
But then I'm telling you, I called Ekekelowa, I called this, I called that. And if you were a title chief, I will also call you, because they're just speaks to the spirits, to our ancestors. Is our connection to the ancestor and our connection to the community.
Yeah.
It can speak to people in an environment and ask someone to be watchful. If you are in charge of the environment, I can tell you someone who is dangerous is here. Otukwara ogonogo, ono na aka ekpe, ono na nkonko, ogbu oturugo biakete. You know, I will call you. I won't say much. I'll stop here, but I will call you.
So it's only someone that could understand that would.
Of course, intellectuals. We have intellectuals in our culture. They are the men who can decode what the Oja is saying. They are people who are spiritually attuned. Like I said, the Igbo man is a composite spirit. You're not compartmentalized. You can understand these sounds and know what it means. It's not everybody. And then you will also have the zeal to act on it if you hear it. If it says, kara kara gure gure agwo no kwana krika, you know what it is saying. You know that it's cautioning you. Okay, you'll be watchful, you'll be set. Or it's, you know, I don't want to say more. I
get.
So young people are not vibing to this deep level of it, and there is no problem. So how do you solve that? There are younger people in Ichoku Academy, people younger than myself. that's now played, like Oloma and like Chikaima, who also plays the Oja. These are girls, and they can play the Oja. So they are playing it, and their generation can connect to them, to what they are doing. They love it. That's how it starts. Let people get interested. And then I'm also doing music. I sing, I tell stories, I use this instrument, and I'm telling you, children enjoy it, even when they don't understand the deep level. Like I said in my performance, in one of my performances, not everybody hears this, but listen, for there is something for everyone. So look at Oja piano, beautiful piece, and people connect. You don't need to know what it is saying. That's how to start. People are dancing and people are vibing, and then with time, the few initiates, the few who are called to really assess the full knowledge in this thing, in these instruments and the sounds, they will come to it.
Okay, so let's talk about your recent concert in Wigmore Hall in London. How did that make you feel? Do you feel like it's a stepping stone to a particular level?
Yeah, remember I told you I am Mother Abuchi, and when I was doing my first degree, 2015, my research was on Oja trilogy, from army to pop and arts music tradition. So this was 10 years ago, and it was supervised by Reverend Father Professor Emmanuel Umezimo. Because I could do composition, because I could also teach, and I could also perform, and I could do research in culture, I was confused. I wrote up to 10 topics. Sometimes you tell a student, go and get topic. You won't see the person for 1 month. You say, go and get your topic. I wrote 10.
Maybe that's because you're a lecturer.
No, I was talking of when I was a student.
Yeah, that's true.
So I needed a mentor who would say, choose this. So he looked at all the topics. He just looked at one and say, do the one on Oja. So that was Oja trilogy, from army to pop and arts music tradition. My external examiner didn't really get me. It's also happened in my master's. So my life has always been a thing of conflict. And because I know, I don't get offended with people. You get the much you can get, and watch out for the future. So 10 years later, I get an email from the director of the African Concert Series. That's Rebecca Omodia. They would like you to perform at Wigmore Hall. They contacted me early enough. You know, it's not where you see, you come and tell me you want me to perform. Even if you want me to perform in government house, you're telling me 2 days later. I mean, 2 days to the event. Because I'm going to script my performance. So, early invitation, we started scripting, and said, you know, back and forth. So what happened at Wigmore? What happened at Wigmore Hall was a live performance of that research work I did in 2015. Because what led to that research work? In the background of studies, I stated that I play Oja, but now I've started going to Lagos. That was as of 2015, to play Oja. And when I get to Lagos, I meet a pianist. I don't meet the man that plays Ewa in my village. So what happens when I meet a pianist? What happens when I meet a reggae band? What happens when I meet the Kenga band headed by Nze Emeki Kazo in Lagos? What happens when I go to Freedom Park and it's not my village square? So I needed to research. Our people sometimes will say, no, it will happen, or you can play. It needs to be scientific. You know, that's how J.S. Bach wrote the Welton Part Clavier. He was trying to solve a problem. He was trying to create something. You know, out as he was composing, he was also solving a problem, developing a new system, the foundation upon which Western classical music was built. So I wouldn't just say, you can play it now. I was studying that thing I could do. So how did I do it with that pianist? How did I do it with Ayetoro in jazz hall? I was writing it. So I started scoring for Oja and piano in 2015. So that is art music, because Oja trilogy, pop, art, and art music. From Ami, that's from the tradition, that's the first level, to pop music and to art music. So playing with the pianist, playing with a string quartet, how do you do that? Because you will say, as some people will say, Oja is in Kisi. It's not in Kisi, it's not in Kiji, it is Oja. It's in its own vibration. The main thing that the tuner wants is let it speak the Igbo language. So don't oversimplify it. It's sophisticated. how do we now apply this sophisticated tradition to the piano, to the string? So that was the research, and it happened at Wigmore. I felt fulfilled. That is the answer. I felt fulfilled. And this year, 2025, more than any year in my life, makes me fully align with the divine vibration leading me, whatever it is saying.
Maybe we should give a round of applause to that.
Yeah, so that's also how the audience received it. They clapped. So I performed with the string quartet. I did a piece called Ifeanyi Chukwu. I also performed with the piano, with the pianist Rebecca Omodie. And guess the piece we did? A piece
We're gonna play that. We're gonna, sorry to cut you there. Let's play the video. But would like you to do a live performance here with us. We saw that you're with your instruments, your Oja, and the other one looking at me right there. So are you ready for us?
Yeah, I'm going to play the Oja.
Okay. I mean, you said you had the song to.
I have an album coming on the 22nd of this month.
Okay, so is it part of what you're going to play right now?
No, I'm not going to play that. I'm going to play the Oja.
All right, play the Oja for us. I said that time is almost up.
Okay.
My bad. I'm supposed to be doing A.
You forgot. I
forgot again. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we should bring the other instrument, right?
Yes. I'm going to play the Ogbuoja next. So at first I played the Neoja at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And then this time I played the Okeoja. I did it intentionally so that you can appreciate the textures.
You know, I don't even know.
There are different types of Oja. Neoja and Okeoja.
Okay. All right, so up next is not up next. He's gonna do that right now. It's not like maybe we'll go on a short break, or okay, bring it to him. Bring it to him. Yeah. Do you need my help to hold something for you, or first of all, what's the name of this?
So this is called Ogbuoja.
Oh, okay.
And it was popularized by men like Ezigbo Obiligbo. That's the grandfather of Umu Obiligbo. Yeah, but the one he played had 1 octave, but this is an improvement of that. This particular instrument, this one has 2 octaves.
Okay.
So
This one sounds like that sound in epic movies.
Yeah. Sometimes they take it from the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
But this is the live one.
I think I like this one more.
Egwu na chi yelebi ụwa. Egwu na chi yana. Iji ụwa si na chi. Iji ụwa si n'akara aka. Akara aka si na chi. O ji bụrụ onye bulu chi ụzọ, ọ gbagbuo onwe ya n'ọsọ.
Clock it.
Ndidi bụ ije n'ụwa. Ndidi bụ ije n'ụwa. Na nwata nwelu ndidi ga-enwe wele. Ndidi bụ ije n'ụwa. Nwata nwe ndidi onwe ya wele. Ndidi bụ ije n'ụwa. So this is
This
a song
one
from
sounds
my
so
album.
cool.
This is a song from my album Ndidi
Wije
Enowa.
Nowa.
So there's also a song called Akachi. And,
Same with this instrument.
Yeah, I played the Oja, I played the oboe, I played
Okay.
the xylophone. You know, it's an ensemble of Igbo musical instruments in each track. So there's a song Anyanana Bumong, you know, teaching you consciousness. Anyanana Bumong, because the Oja always tells the Ijele Anyanana. Anyanana ko Oja gwali Ijele is a popular saying around Oja. And so Ndidi Enowa, if we produce songs that can form character, we'll have less need for gun. But if we produce songs that make people go wild, go into quick means of making wealth, then no amount of security will keep us safe.
Yeah.
So we nurture human beings with music, and that is what our ancestors did, and that is what I am hoping to do with my upcoming album, Ndidi Genoa Akachi Denandum, so that each child will learn that Akaraka, that each person will learn that they are unique. So Akachi Denandum, Unekwelugo, Namuna Chim Sobiowa, Namuna Chim Denama, Njebe Jebo Someje, Naba Nabo Somana,
No, so hey God.
Thank you.
You know, this, I think I love this song, maybe because it's so calming and soothing to the soul, I don't know. But you know, before we let you go, right? And finally, what message would you give to, or do you have for Africans trying to reconnect with this cultural roots and the local instruments?
Yeah, first I will take the opportunity to point out that the video that played was from the Independence Day performance that was in October. Yeah. And so there is a short clip of the Wigmore Hall that you can find on my Instagram handle. But the Wigmore Hall concert has not really been published yet. And then secondly, to address the question, what do I have for... Can you ask the question again?
What advice would you give to the young Africans that want to reconnect and maybe align with the local instruments?
Yeah, the reason why I wanted you to ask it again is I will give this advice from experience. Quickly, I was in Jamaica in 2024, last year, was it? Yeah, last year, October. And I performed at Motown, I performed at Institute of Jamaica in Kingston. Why did I go to Jamaica? Because the Jamaicans are trying to reconnect back to their African roots. If they come back, what would they see? They will see us talking about money and how it is everywhere. I don't want to say the popular phrase, so that I don't popularize it. And they also will they come back and see us bragging? To what extent? They are seeking knowledge. They want to return to the true essence of their being. And so, if you carry this gift, if you carry this Oja gift, stop going around to festivals in search of money. Stop doing it. Don't over commercialize it. Don't turn it into a petty act. Of course, there are different levels of performance, right? It's okay at an amateur level to seek sustenance, but put a little dignity to it. Put yourself together. It's not like I have all the money. It's discipline. It's just discipline. And if you can, try it, and you will see that what you carry is for the world, not just the Igbo world. So there are Africans in the United States that want to return to their culture. We need somebody that will sit down and develop a whole structure around how people can practice this music. That's what I've been doing with Ichoku Academy, and reconnecting now with Signature TV to project that message. And Signature TV is in the Southeast. That's massive. So I don't need to do this in Lagos. I don't need to do this in Abuja. I don't need to do it in London. It does not need to happen with BBC. So we need a communal effort. We need an integrative approach from the media, from the educators, the performers, the researchers. We need to come together. And what advice straight up that I have for people who are returning is there is something big waiting for you at home.
Okay.
Reconnecting back to your roots is the beginning of your journey, no matter how old you are.
Okay.
And that is what the Jamaicans wanted to do. I tell you quickly, there is a word in Jamaica called unu in their patois. And unu means all of you.
All of you, yeah.
The same way in Igbo. So we should be prepared at home. And those who are outside who want to make this connection back home, I tell you, there are a few of us who are serious and dedicated to welcome you. So make that journey. Don't let anybody make you feel like if you're a Christian, there's nothing in Christianity that stops you from connecting to your roots, from connecting to understand how the Igbo prays with the Oji. Nothing stops you from learning the Oja. Nothing stops you from playing the Ufie, the Ogene. These are instruments that unlock the codes in our DNA, and they tell us who we are. Like I said earlier, if you connect to your roots, that's the beginning of your journey. So you are welcome. Do it quickly.
Thank you very much. This was insightful and educative. I forgot that you're actually a lecturer. I just remembered. So, of course. Thank you so much for coming. High five. Had a great time. Interesting performance and good elaboration of all the instruments. You've heard the advice. If you want to reconnect to your roots and, of course, connect to the instrument, you've heard it from Ogbuoja himself. The show has come to an end. Join us same time tomorrow for more interesting stories, insightful conversations. Follow all our social media platforms. Enjoy the rest of your day. I remain your baby girl, Queenette Wokunta.